Good morning, grade 9. So today we're going to do lesson 5.4, which is using points to find the equation of a line. So, key idea. Oh, one sec. There's a handout on Teams that you should print off and fill in as you're watching this video. Okay, so the key idea is that although there are two forms of the equation for a linear relation, the slope y-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, gives the most information. If given any 2 points on a line, you can find the equation of that line by solving for the slope and y-intercept. So basically, if I give you 2 points on a line, like A, -3, 2, and B is 5, 1, just from those 2 points, you can find the equation in y equals mx plus b form. And that's what we're going to do today. All right? So the second box there says finding the slope, or finding m. So you actually already know how to do this, which is great, but we'll go over it again. So first, you'll label one of the points x1, y1, and you'll label the other one x2, y2. Then you'll use the slope equation, which is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You'll plug those points in, and that will be your slope. So let's do that below there. So if I give you the points A is 2, 3, and B is 0, -1, I'm going to label those points as x1, y1, and x2, y2. Then I'm going to use my slope equation, which is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now y2 is -1. y1 is 3 minus 3, x2 is 0 minus x1, which is 2. So -1 minus 3 is -4, 0 minus 2 is -2. -4 divided by -2 is 2. So my slope is 2, m equals 2. All right, then you'll need to find the y-intercept. So far I have y equals mx plus b. I have m, so I have y equals m, which is 2, down here, 2x plus b. So now I just have to find b, and then I'll have my whole equation in y equals mx plus b form. So in order to do that, I'm going to put the slope in, like I did, into the equation, and then I'm going to take one of these points, a or b, doesn't matter which one, and put it into the equation for x and y. Okay, so I'm going to use point A, which is 2, 3. So a coordinate point 2, 3 is in the order of x, y, right? So in my equation, y equals 2x plus b, I'm going to put this 2 where the x is, and I'm going to put this 3 where the y is, because it's a point x, y. So I'm putting them in the place of x and y. So that now I have 3 equals 2 times x, which is 2, plus b. Now I'm just going to solve for b. So I have 3 equals 2 times 2 is 4, plus b. Now I want to get b by itself, so this is a positive 4 here. So I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. I'm going to undo it. So now I have 3 minus 4 equals b. 3 minus 4 is -1. So b equals -1. So if the slope was 2 and b is -1, then my equation is y equals 2x minus 1. And that is the entire equation for this line with the points a and b on it. Okay, we'll do some more examples. All right, number 1. Determine the equation of this line. So you only get a line. You have no numbers given to you except the ones on the graph. So from the graph, you're going to pick 2 points. So 2 points that are pretty accurate as whole numbers are 0, 3 and 1, 0.5. Okay, so I just want you to find those points for a second and draw a dot on them on your graph. Okay, now we're going to label our points as x1, y1, and x2, y2. Then I'm going to plug them into the slope equation so I can find the slope. So m equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. y2 is 0.5, y1 is 3. x2 is 1 minus x1, which is 0. So 0.5 minus 3 is negative 2.5, and 1 minus 0 is 1. Negative 2.5 over 1 is just negative 2.5. So the slope is negative 2.5. So now, so far I have y equals negative 2.5 x plus b. So I just need to find b, and then my equation will be complete. So I'm going to pick one of these points. I'm going to choose this one, 0, 3, and I'm going to insert it into the equation. So remember that this point is x, y. So the 0 needs to go in the place of the x, and the 3 needs to go in the place of the y. So I have 3 equals negative 2.5 times 0 plus b. Negative 2.5 plus 0 is 0. So now I have 3 equals b. So m equals negative 2.5 and b equals 3. So my equation is y equals negative 2.5x plus 3. Done. All right, number 2. Determine the equation of a line with a slope of 4 that passes through the point 2, 6. So slope equals 4, and we know the point 2, 6. So slope is m is 4, and 2, 6 we're going to label as x, y. Okay? So now my equation is y equals mx plus b. I know m is 4, so I'm going to write that. So y equals 4x plus b. Now in order to find b, I need to plug in this point in the place of x and y. So y is 6, so 6 equals 4 times x, which is 2, plus b. So 6 equals 8 plus b. Now this is a positive 8, so to undo it, I'm going to subtract it from both sides. So 6 minus 8 equals b, so negative 2 equals b. So m is 4, and b is negative 2. So in y equals mx plus b, my equation will be y equals 4x minus 2. Okay, next page. Determine the equation of a line that has a slope of negative 1/3 and the same y-intercept as the line 2x minus 4y plus 7 equals 0. So we know the slope, and we need to find the y-intercept. So they gave me an equation and said it has the same y-intercept as this one. So you need to remember how we get the y-intercept. And the y-intercept happens when x equals 0. So in this equation, I'm going to plug in 0 for x, and then I'm going to solve for y, and that will be my y-intercept. So 2 times 0 minus 4y plus 7 equals 0. So 0 minus 4y plus 7 equals 0. So I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides because I want to undo it. So now I have negative 4y equals negative 7. Now this negative 4 is connected to the y by multiplication, so I'm going to do the opposite, which is divide by negative 4. And now I have y equals negative 7 over negative 4. Those negatives cancel out, so y equals 7 over 4. So the y-intercept is 7 over 4. So that it actually becomes b, because that's the y-intercept. So b is 7 over 4, and m is negative 1/3. So my equation y equals mx plus b. Plug in the m and the b, and I have y equals negative 1/3 plus 7 over 4. Number 4. Determine the equation of the line that passes through A, negative 3, 3, and B, negative 3, 2. Okay, so we're going to label them as x1, y1 and x2, y2. Plug them into the slope formula. So y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1 equals y2 is 2 minus y1 is 3. X2 is negative 3 minus x1, which is minus negative 3. 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Negative 3 minus negative 3 is the same as negative 3 plus 3, which is 0. And I want you to grab your calculator and type in negative 1 divided by 0. Your calculator will probably say math error or undefined. And that's because you cannot divide something by nothing, right? You can't divide it by 0. You can divide it by 1 and you still have 1 of it. But you can't divide it by nothing. That's not possible. So now this is a special situation where we look at what is x. So in both of these equations or points, x is negative 3. So actually the equation of this line is x equals negative 3 because no matter what y is, x is going to be negative 3. So on a graph, it would look like this. This was my graph, and this is negative 3. It's just a straight vertical line at negative 3. No matter what y is, x is always negative 3. So when you try to find your slope and it's undefined or it's something over 0, then you look at the x value and say, what is that x value? That is the equation of the line. X equals that number, negative 3. Okay? Number 5. Kelsey and Quinn went to the local fair, which charges a flat fee for admission plus additional cost for ride tickets. Kelsey bought 15 tickets and paid $19.50 total. Quinn bought 36 tickets and paid $30 total. A. Find an equation that represents the total money spent and the number of tickets purchased. So, if we go back to the explanation there, Kelsey bought 15 tickets and she paid $19.50. Quinn bought 36 tickets and paid $30. Okay, so I just made those into 2 coordinate points. So word problems in this type of lesson, you're going to want to look for things like that because think about what we learned today and how you can make an equation based on that. Okay, so when you get a word problem like this, look for things you can turn into points, like coordinates, like this. Okay, so I'm going to label these as x1, y1, and x2, y2. Then I'm going to find the slope, which is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. y2 is 30. y1 is 1950. x2 is 36, and x1 is 15. So 30 minus 1950 is 1050. And 36 minus 15 is 21. 1050 divided by 21 is 0.50. All right, so my slope is 0.5. So far I have y equals 0.5x plus b. Now I need to find b, so I'm going to plug in a point. I'm going to choose 36, 30. So that's x, y. So $30 equals 0.5 times 36 plus b. 30 equals 0.5 times 36 is 18. Now that's a positive 18, so to undo it, I'm going to take it away from both sides. 30 minus 18 is 12 equals b. So m equaled 0.5 and b equaled 12. So my equation is y equals 0.5x plus 12. Okay, now we're going to use that equation in a minute. So B, a ride pass gives unlimited rides for $21. Write the equation for the relationship between the total money spent and the number of rides it can be used for. So $21 equals the cost, or y. No matter how many rides you go on, it's always going to be $21, okay? So there's no x in this equation, it's just y equals 21. No matter how many rides you go on, it's always $21, right? Because you have a pass for the whole entire place. All right, C. Last year, Erin used 25 tickets at the fair. Should she buy a pass this year? So remember that a pass was Y equals $21. That's the pass. Okay, so $21 for the pass. Now, our equation for the cost was Y equals 0.5x plus 12. So x is the number of tickets. So we're going to plug in 25 for x and see what it would cost. So 0.5 times 25 plus 12 equals 12.5 plus 12 equals 24.5. So to buy 25 tickets, it will cost her $24.50. But to buy a pass, it will cost her $21. So therefore, the pass is cheaper. D. Heather only likes the Funhouse, which requires 1 ticket, and she did this activity 10 times last year. How much money would she save by purchasing tickets instead of a ride pass? So she did this 10 times, and it was 1 ticket, so she needs 10 tickets. So Y equals 0.5x plus 12. 10 tickets equals x, so we're going to plug in 10 for x. Y equals 0.5 times 10 plus 12. 0.5 times 10 is 5, plus 12 is 17. So it would cost her $17 to buy 10 tickets. If she bought the pass, that would be $21. So 21 minus 17 is 4. So she would save $4 if she bought tickets instead of a ride pass. All right, your homework is listed there at the bottom. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope to talk to you soon.